Welcome back, everyone, to Hey Babe, Can We Talk? With me, your host and bestie, Drea Renee. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the place where the hot mess expresses the black sheeps of love, and for those who just can't seem to get it right when it comes to matters of the heart, I am you, you are me, we are one. And if no one else gets you, I do. And if you're returning, I missed you, and we're gonna have a great episode. On today's episode, we have the amazing Selina Ringel with us. She's an author, director, actress, all the things. You name it, she can probably do it. She's gonna be talking about her new book, Be the Train, and her movie, You, Me, and Her, which is a little bit based on her life. But before we get into that, you guys, make sure you hit that like, follow, subscribe, and comment down below because I love to hear from you. And without further ado, let's get into it with Selina Ringel. Woo! We're gonna jump right into it, girl. Oh my God, first of all, you look amazing, and I am so happy that you are finally here.
Yay, me too.
wanted you on for so long.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
And you're so busy, you're doing all the things, and I just applaud you because you are a mother, you are a wife, you are an author, actress, producer, you do all the things. Is there anything you cannot do, Selina?
Sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely don't sleep anymore.
But really, are you actually not sleeping, like for real?
Like for real, probably not. Yeah, I mean, I probably am like very sleep deprived for real.
But it's all worth it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all worth it. You
It
just
is
had your movie come out.
Yeah.
You have your book out.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Be the Train. Oh my God, I watched a little clip last night and I was so inspired by this idea of creating it for yourself and not waiting for somebody else to do it for you.
Thank you. Yeah, so the whole book it's called Be the Train, the mindset and tools you need to make your first feature. But I think it actually applies to anybody in any creative field. And so much of it is, I think that, we're told all the time to like, wait for the train.
Right.
That's going to be this like life-changing opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So like you have to go to class and you have to be prepared, and then one day someone's going to notice you and that's going to change everything, or someone's going to call you, someone's going to send you an email. There's like this thing that's one day going to appear in your inbox that's going to change your whole life.
Right.
And so we're all just here like waiting for that email, waiting for that text, waiting for that random guy to see us across the street and go, she's got the it factor. I'm going to make her the next Hollywood star. And I just don't think the train is coming. I don't think that that's actually how it works. I think you have to be the train. And what I mean by that is you have to be the opportunity that other people want to jump onto. And in order to do that, you have to be creating your own momentum. You have to be creating your own opportunities. You have to be writing your own roles. You have to be, and it's really hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but I also think that we're in a different time where we have a lot more accessibility to things and we're a lot more capable of making our own stuff. And I think that a lot of people think that money gets in the way.
Right.
But I don't think to the degree that people are aware of. I think that people just don't make the effort because they're so scared of how hard it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, even with our movie, I mean, we had a movie that just came out in 250 theaters.
Congratulations.
Thank you. On Valentine's Day. And yeah, I mean, we had to raise money for the marketing for the movie, and we actually got 20 brand partners, and we got
That's amazing, Selina.
Thank you. We got like around $100,000 in kind from all these different brands. There was so much stuff that we did that was really like outside of the box thinking for like a marketing campaign. We gave away trips to Mexico. We partnered with the government of Nayarit. We partnered with hotels where we shot the movie. We gave 250 curated boxes to influencers all over the nation. We partnered with a childcare company to give away discounted childcare so people can have a date night. We partnered with Fandango and did, buy 2 tickets, get 1 free. We created internships across the nation.
Girl, this is what I'm saying. Like, you do it all. But you make such a good point about the opportunities that you have to create for yourself, which is how I got here with my show. Because I was sitting by the phone waiting for auditions, waiting for the thing. And I'm thinking to myself, if I want to be on camera and I want to be creative, I need to go create my own path.
100%.
And what got in my way was my own mindset.
100%.
And
well, that's what this is.
Yeah, I was like, it's not going to be good. People are going to hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this is funny. It's not that funny. But then one day I was just like, an opportunity came up for me and I said yes to it, which brought me to where I am now. But I just had to say, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, and it was like pressing at my bones for years. Like, Drea, go do it. Drea, go do it.
Yeah.
Drea, go do it. And then finally I was like, I'm going to feel so terrible if I don't like get this monkey off my back.
Yeah.
And go create.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you. And I think that that's amazing. And here you are. And that's a part of it. I think that there's so much negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And I think that like, you know, the fear is always going to be there. The fear of it not working, the fear of failure, the fear of like, that's always going to be there.
Did you experience that?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And by the way, like one of our...
Because you were Aries, girl, and I know. You don't mess around. When I met you, I was like, oh, okay. Let me straighten up.
Well, no, I mean, we, like one of our brand partners, for example, is Lindt Chocolate, right? Which is a huge company. And like, I remember when I was sending that email to Lindt Chocolate, I was thinking to myself, like, what the fuck am I thinking that Lindt Chocolate's going to answer me?
You just did it.
But I was like, who cares? Who cares? Like, I'm going to send 1,000 emails. Most people are not going to respond, and that's okay. And then 20 responded, and those were the right partners for this, and one of them ended up being Lindt. But it's just like, if I don't try, if I don't put myself out there, then nothing happens.
Right.
And I actually have a whole chapter that's about strategic, thoughtful, researched cold emails, because I actually really believe in the power of cold emails.
Really?
When you
I
do
get
it right.
so scared to do it.
I know, it's so hard.
You just said it, and my body was like, oh.
I know.
Oh God, I don't know if I can do that.
I know.
But I need to do it. There's like
Yeah.
a list of brands that I want to connect with.
Yes.
And in my mind,
Yes.
I just think, well, I don't know.
No.
And what about this? And what about that?
No.
You know?
No, you just have to figure out how to frame yourself in a way where you're adding value to them. And you have value. And you can add value to them, and you have to see that in yourself and frame it that way. And then also know that, yeah, a lot of people are not going to respond, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. You just got to let all those
Let
go.
all of it go. I know. When I used to think about like back in the day, door-to-door salesman, I was like, I could never do a job like that. We're like, no, leave me alone. No, leave me alone. No, leave me alone. Like that takes a certain type of person.
Yeah.
But I think just anyone stepping out creatively takes a lot of courage to just put yourself out there. So like even when I see a movie or somebody online, like it's kind of crazy or maybe it's not that great, I still applaud that person for saying, you know what? I'm going to do it.
100%.
I'm going to be the train.
And also I think this is the other thing too, is like, you're not going to be great at the beginning. That's okay. Like you get great. Like greatness comes with time.
Yeah.
Like Anora is Sean Baker's 8th independent feature. Number 8. Most people don't know that. So it's like, he made 7 other independent features before Anora. So like, that's the kind of thing where it's, and by the way, I think he's also 54 years old. And so he looks like a baby. But anyway, the point is, but what I'm saying though is like, that gives me a lot of hope. And that makes me feel like, you know what, we're in such a like instant gratification like economy. Like we feel all the time like, oh my God, look at me. I put myself out there in the video. Why didn't I get
Why did I get 3 likes?
Yeah, why did I get 20,000
Why is it not viral?
Why is it not viral? Like, I did it twice. What? Like, what on earth is happening?
Instagram's like, girl, sit down somewhere. You just got here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because that's the thing, is it really takes doing it again and again and again and again. And, you know, this is our 3rd feature. And I think this is our best feature so far. And this is the one that we've gotten the most amount of money for. And this is the one that we've gotten the most amount of press for. And then at the same time, it's like, it's still not like where I want my features to be. Like, I still want more money. I want it to be bigger.
Of course.
But it's like you have to build. And if you're not actually creating, then there's no way to build.
Exactly. That was so well said. So tell us a little bit about the movie. For those who haven't seen it, you guys definitely go check out this movie.
Yes.
Give us a little bit of background.
So the movie's called You, Me, and Her. And it's kind of based on a personal story.
Yes.
So it's about a couple who's having a hard time in their marriage, and they just had a kid, and they go on a trip to Mexico to kind of rekindle the marriage.
Yeah.
And the wife, who's played by me, gets hit on by a woman, and she realizes that she'd be kind of curious to be with a woman. And so the thought of having a threesome starts to kind of like reconnect this couple, but obviously it's not as simple as it sounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this, and I think it's so brave of you to like put this out there sort of based on a true story.
Yes.
Because when you've been married for a while, you know, I've not yet. Husband, hi, I'm available. You got to do certain things to spice it up. And so but that journey is so different for everyone. Because I think a lot of times people will jump and be like, let's just open up our bedroom.
Yeah.
But you have to have so many other things established. So if there is a couple out there who's thinking about it, what advice would you give to them?
Well, I think even more than that. So, and I think that's an interesting question. But I think that the movie itself is not so much about having a threesome as it is about what are the dynamics of being in a long-term committed relationship?
Yes.
And what does it mean to be more honest with each other, check in with each other more, and get more curious about how the other person is growing and changing? Because I think so much about what this movie is two people who have stopped checking in. And I think that happens really often, especially when you've been together for a long time.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting, but obviously the director's my husband.
Yeah.
So we really went there.
Shout out.
We really went there with this one. But yeah, Dan Levy Daggerman.
Interesting working together like in that way? Because you guys are together like a lot. I saw the Skin Deep.
Yes.
Oh my God.
We really went all out.
You guys
on that one.
went all
I know.
out. I was like, is he crying? Oh my God.
I know.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, we were really, really vulnerable on that. That was a really interesting experience. But yes, the thing is that it's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not easy all the time. I think that it's got its pros and its cons, right? And so the cons are obviously when things aren't going well, they're not going well for both of us.
Right.
And that really sucks. Like, it's not like I've got my lawyer husband who's just paying the bills and I'm doing my creative thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, girl.
So that's tough.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, what's incredible that I feel very grateful for is, like, for example, we just did a press tour that was like 3 weeks long. We had to go to like 8 different cities. We were doing press in every city. We were
you
doing
stayed
premieres.
married at the end.
Well, but we got to do it together.
Yeah.
Right? So like that's kind of incredible. Instead of having to do this press tour on my own,
Yeah.
it was like I got to go with my best friend. And we got to we win awards, we win them together. Like when things are going well, when we're in like the high of what life can be, we get to experience that together. And that's really special.
I feel like my hormones are going to... that's so beautiful. How long have you guys been married?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
How do you do it? Like, what do you think? I'm sure people ask that. Well, not only how you do it, but how you do it in LA. I mean, you have so many hats. Like, how do you guys stay focused on each other and nurturing that relationship?
Well, I think that's the part that's hard, right? Which is part of why we wanted to explore that in this movie. Yeah. So I think that like one of the things that we have a very hard time with, because we're both very workaholic types, is that we're really good at the work stuff.
Right.
So we can get really into the work stuff all day. Like we can be going to bed and being like, so did you send that email to that guy? Like, yes, I sent it. How about the drive? Did you upload the thing? Yes, I uploaded the thing. Did you send the poster to the... And like, we're just like doing it.
Yeah.
But it's like, what about like the moments of just like, sweet, like, how are you, honey? Or like, you know what I mean?
The intimate moments that aren't even sexual fully, but just like a touch of the back, a kiss on the forehead.
Well, those are the things that, I mean, we have them, but we have to work on them, and we also have 2 kids. I would actually say that strangely, I think our kids have actually helped us.
Kids are so cute, by the way.
Well, because they're so cute.
Oh my God, they're so cute.
They're so cute. And not only are they so cute, but they give us something else that matters in our life.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, because we're very workaholic, it's really easy to be like so one-track minded.
Right.
But like when we're with them, it's like we're so present with them. We put our phone in a different room. And like I think those are the parts where we're really like silly and present and fun and sweet, and like almost there's an intimacy in that. And
that's what I was going to say. It brings out the nurturing part.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I want to relate Be the Train, right? Creating your own creative pathway to dating. Right. Yeah. So I was thinking about this last night when I was listening to you, and I was like, this is very similar to being that person that you want to be with.
Yeah.
Right. So to all the single people out there, like, that may be reading this book, this is the same thing in terms of being creative, like creating that space for who you want and be that person that you want. Because so many people have this list of what they want, and then they aren't even that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Like, could you imagine dating today, Selina, like in this world, like how you would fare? Because it's not fun.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. We actually skipped the whole app part of things.
Oh yeah, you didn't do any apps.
Nothing. Because when we started dating, Tinder had just come out. And we didn't even do Tinder
How
because
did you guys meet?
At our master's program at AFI. Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful.
But we were very casually dating. Like, we were not dating seriously at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Selena doing her thing.
Yeah. It was really casual. And also, by the way, I was like a child. I was 22 years old.
Right.
So I wasn't thinking about marriage at all.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about like, you know, the future or any of those things.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm doing my career right now. I was like, I'll pick a little fun buddy. And like, and that's literally like where my head was at. I was like, he's cute, he'll do, like, you know what I mean?
I love that. I want to hear about dating Selena. What was she like? Was she having a good time?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but that's the thing is, like, I think because it was so casual, it actually allowed us to kind of be really comfortable with each other.
Right.
Because there were no expectations.
I don't know how to do that, Selena.
Well, and by the way, I have a lot of friends who are in a similar situation. Because, no, I think that the older you get, and it's good too, but there's the pros and the cons. So the pros are you're much more aware of who you are and what you want. And that's really good because then you're not going to settle. You're going to really be selective about who your life partner is. But then on the con side of it, we can get really picky about what that means. And the thing is that we're all flawed, you know? And so it's like, to what degree are the flaws like livable with? You know what I'm saying? Because like,
that naked walk, Selena, is not going to be livable with for me.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, it's I mean, and some things are deal breakers and other things are not. And it's about figuring out what's a deal breaker for you. And I think that when you're younger, you don't even know what your deal breaker is.
You're not even thinking about it. Right? I'm just like, he's cute.
Yeah, exactly.
He has a job, but he's cute.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, that's literally it.
Yeah. When I think about how I date now, when I am talking to people about their values and, you know, their 5-year plan, I did not ask any of those questions.
100%.
It is beyond me.
I agree. But I think that, again, I think there's the pros and cons of, you know, both things. They say that, like, marriage is like a startup business. Yeah. Right? And so when you marry really young, it's like it's two startups who don't know what they're doing. So they kind of like fuse into one startup. Does that make sense? Yes. When you get married older, you're actually like a merger, right? So what
never heard this.
So what that means is you're both actually like an established company. Like, you've both been building who you are for long enough that now you actually know exactly what you are, what you stand for, what your brand is, like, what, you know, and then it's a merger. But mergers look different because you're coming in from like all these things you already know you are, and this person's coming in all the things they know they are. And so the merge isn't as, you know, it's like when you're younger, it just fuses together because you both don't know who you are.
Kind of like blank slate.
Yeah, it's a blank slate. But then at the same time, there's also cons to that, right?
Right.
Because you can change a lot in 10 years.
Yes.
And you can be a completely different person than you were when you started. And you could, you know, when I first started dating Dan, I was just a producer. That was all I was doing. And I think probably in his mind, to some degree, he thought I was just going to produce all his films. Which was, no, I mean, that was kind of like the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because that's who you were at that time.
That's who I was at that time. Right. And now I'm a writer, and I'm an actor, and I'm an author, and I'm, you know, so he kind of got like a different deal, you know?
Exactly. I mean, you never know who you're going to be, and it's amazing that you change. You don't want to be the person that you were 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I want to circle back when I was talking to you about, you know, spicing up your relationship. What advice would you give to couples who are kind of in that like rough patch where they don't really know what to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing is really checking in.
Yeah.
So checking in about someone's fantasies, checking in about what excites someone, making time to be intimate, making time to feel sexy. I think that, and also it's about how you behave with someone. This is funny. Dan's not gonna like that I say this, but I feel like sometimes, for example, like Dan will come in and be like, "Oh, you look so beautiful today," and I like immediately know what he wants. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Dan's like, hey girl.
yeah, and I'm like, no. I'm like, you don't get to like on a one-off. You know what I mean? Be like, oh damn, you look good. You wanna? Like, no, that's not how this works. Like, you need to be like,
I know what you're doing.
I know exactly. I'm like, practice doing that like every day for a week, and then you know what I mean. I might be in a better mood. No,
exactly.
But
no, I love that. I love that. I love it.
I just think that it's important to kind of like work on all these things daily.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that gets really hard. And I think the other part that also gets hard is appreciating each other, right? So
you hear that all the time, how you take people for granted.
Yes, and that's in this movie too. And so I think that a lot of it is like you're just in your day to day, and everyone feels like they're doing the most. Like,
yes.
because everyone's in their own story. And so, like, in my mind, I'm like, I couldn't fucking do more. Like, I couldn't do more. I feel like
no, don't do nothing else. Go to bed. That's what you need to do. Selena needs to go to bed.
I'm like, I have got so much on my plate. But, you know, he feels that way too.
Right.
And so it's like, so I have to take a step back and acknowledge everything he's doing, even when I'm feeling like, how dare you feel overwhelmed? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm super overwhelmed. Like, you don't get to be overwhelmed, you know? But that's not fair. Because
but he's having his own experience.
He's having his own experience, and he's also overwhelmed, and he's also doing a lot of stuff, and he's also really good at a lot of things, and he's doing different things than what I'm doing.
Right.
But I think it's like really about taking a step back and acknowledging the other person and being grateful for what they do bring to the table. And focusing on the positive.
Right.
So, yeah, and I think all those things, like, you know, bring intimacy.
Yeah, and I think what you were talking about with the getting together younger versus older, you're established, but you're also more emotionally evolved. I mean, hopefully so.
No, I
so
think
you
you
can
are.
kind of recognize
100%.
those things when you're in a
100%.
relationship, like, ooh, my partner is a human being.
Yes,
And
100%.
they're having their own experience, and maybe it's not exactly what I think it should be.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And also, it's not about me, right?
Ooh,
Like, sometimes.
hold on now.
Ah! No, but I think sometimes it's not about, it's like, because sometimes, like, you know, he'll be in a bad mood, and it's like, I'll be like, don't put that on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes it just has nothing to do with me. It's just like, he's
I have a hard
his
time
own
with that
day.
one too.
Well, and what's so
I'm
funny.
like, I don't believe you. I don't like the way you said I love you. It's over. Just kidding. Come back.
No, but you know what's so funny, and I have actually said this to my husband before, but it's like, I have so much patience and compassion for my kids. And like my son will sometimes have like a meltdown over nothing, right?
Right.
Like, it's like he wanted the blue crayon and it's the green crayon, something stupid, right? And I'm like, and I can literally, I have so much like open heartedness to like let him. Like, I really have it inside me to be like, honey, it's okay. I know.
That
it would
softness.
it would have been, it's okay that, you know, you feel bad. Let it out. Just cry. Feel your feelings. Like, I'll hold space. It would have been nice to have the yellow crayon, but here we are. There's only blue. We'll get through it. You know what I mean? But with my husband, I don't have that same patience. I'm like, the fuck you talking about a crayon right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, get over it
You're a
now.
grown man.
You know what I mean? I'm like, be a man and get over it, you know? And so I have to catch myself sometimes being like, wow, that's so unfair.
That's a good point.
You
I've
know
never
what I
heard
mean?
it like compared like that, but that's true. Your heart's like all open for the damn crayon.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what about my crayon?
Yeah, exactly.
I said you look beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, wait a minute. I just said I feel really overwhelmed about this, this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, but that's all like, just deal with it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you're going to be fine. But it's like they have that sensitive spot too.
Of course. And we're all just kids at heart, right? I mean,
So what do you guys do for fun? Like, how do you guys like let loose? You're working so much. Like, do you guys go out? Like, do you have dinner parties? Like, what do you guys do?
Good question. It's an interesting question because I think right now we haven't done so much because we've had so much. Like, it's been probably the most work I've had in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean, your plate is beyond.
Yeah, beyond. I would say, like, we do try to get, like, dinner, do, like, a little dinner date here and there.
Yeah.
We are having, which I'm really excited about, we're doing, so I'm turning 35, he's turning 40, and we're going to be 10 years married. So we are doing like a little trip with a lot of our close friends.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so that'll be really fun. So we're like organizing like a weekend in Mexico to celebrate with everyone, and that'll feel like a big celebration.
Oh, I love that.
But I think that we are kind of working on, just doing a little bit more of that stuff because, you know, right now we were in theaters for 3 weeks.
Congratulations. That is
you.
so cool, Selena.
Thank you.
I was like, I know her. That's my girl. Oh my God, she made this movie. Yeah.
Thank you.
So good.
And, but you know, it's like right now it's been like this weird kind of like cocoon because then it's like, it's done. Like the theatrical run is done. We're still working obviously on the streaming deal and the ancillary and the, you know, international and the TVOD and and I'm going to give you some fun news.
Ooh, yes.
I'm going to say here for the first time.
Hey, babe, can we talk exclusive?
But we just sold to American Airlines.
Oh my God, congratulations, Selena.
Yeah. So we're going to be on all international and domestic flights.
That is so cool.
Starting April 1st. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Right around your birthday?
Yeah, April 6th is my birthday.
I know, girl.
I got to take that American Airlines flight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. But there's still like all these things we still have to deliver.
Right.
And so what's interesting is like it feels like we're done, but we're not because we still have all the like shit work that we have to do.
Yes, of course.
But not all the glam, you know?
I know everybody always thinks it's just the glam and not, you know, like we were talking about with the 7 indie films earlier. It's like these things take time. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes for you to get to where you are right now.
Yeah. And the glam part is really fun, but it's also really exhausting. Like
girl.
I literally thought I was pregnant because I was so tired. But I'm glad I'm not.
I was like, he told you you're beautiful and it worked.
Pregnant and I'm happy. No, I wouldn't want to be pregnant right now. But I had just never been this tired since I was pregnant.
Right.
And I was like, what is wrong with me? I was like, so I have mononucleosis. Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, something's going on, yeah.
And it's like, no, bitch, like you just did a 3-week press tour. Like,
exactly. Your body's like, anytime you want to take a break, I'm down. Yeah. I'm ready to go. Yeah. So I also want to talk to you about the dynamics of masculine and feminine within your relationship. So I talk about that a lot on the show. Yeah. And sometimes people come in, they're like, oh, my partner's the masculine man and I'm the, the submissive woman or whatever. Yeah. I hate that word submissive. I hate it. So does that show up in your relationships? Because I've been in relationships before where it wasn't even a conversation. And then I've had men kind of put some bass in their voice because I'm an alpha female. Okay. And they're like, Drea. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can calm down. So does that come up for you guys?
Well, I'm definitely an alpha female.
No way, Selena. You don't say.
I would say like I'm as alpha as they come.
You really are. I already knew the answer.
And that is, I think, an interesting dynamic in some ways. I think that, I mean, he has a very strong personality, but I'm much more extroverted than he is. And I am much more alpha than he is. He has really brilliant ideas, though. So he's kind of like a visionary in some ways. And so I think that what can be really cool about how we partner is that he'll have, like, this whole thing of us being in 250 theaters nationwide actually happened because he sent a cold LinkedIn message to a guy who was the ex-CEO of the National Association of Theater Owners.
I mean...
And he had built out this entire deck. I remember when we had finished our movie, we had won 15 awards, we had done all the festivals, and we were looking at taking a deal.
Yeah.
And we did not have any good deals on the table. And I was very ready to take a bad deal because I was like, all right.
Let's just do it.
I mean, like, this is it. Like, we did it. We tried. We gave it our best, and this is what's available. And he actually was the one who he, like, woke up in the middle of the night and was like, we can't sign that deal. He's like, this movie deserves better.
Aww.
And I was like, well,
he's so
what
great.
does that mean?
Yeah. Like,
so
what's the action?
Do?
Yeah.
And I actually, it's really funny. I gave him for his birthday a 3-day trip by himself.
Oh, that's really nice.
Because he loves being by himself. And we have all these like fire signs in the house. Like my son is a Leo.
Oh my God.
daughter's a Sag. And I'm an Aries. And he's a Cancer. So he's like, what's happening in this house?
That is a lot. You're like, it's burning up, Dan.
Yeah.
It's burning up.
He's like, what on earth is happening in this house?
Anyway. And he's in the fields.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, take a trip by yourself, just have some alone time. And he actually came up on this trip with this like 10-page deck of everything he thought we should do.
He's like, I'm going alone to work.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And he was like, we need to raise more money for marketing. We need to partner with brands. We need to have influencer brand partnerships. We need to get more visibility. We need to get more press. We need to raise the perception of the movie. We need all these things. And the thing is, I'm the doer. So he comes up with this whole plan. And at first, obviously, I'm like, what are you saying?
Right?
I'm like, wait a minute. Like, we've already been working so hard to get to this point. Like, you're saying now we need to raise more money. We need to do more blah, blah, blah. We need to send more emails. But then I started really like sitting with the deck. And I'm like, fuck, this is really brilliant.
You're right.
This is a really good idea.
Yeah.
So we started looking at, okay, so what would that look like? What would that mean? What do I have to do? How do I start? Because this is a really big project.
Right.
It's intense. There's a lot to do.
There's so many parts.
There's so many
to
parts.
Creating something like this.
Yes.
So many parts. Yeah.
But basically, I started just doing it.
Yeah.
And then obviously we were doing it together, but I must have sent over 1,000 emails. I'm not exaggerating.
You're so inspiring me right now. No, truly with this, just do it. Just send the email and see what happens. And
see what happens.
I asked you that question because I think so many people now have this idea that dynamics have to be a certain way. Yeah. But it's like you can be an alpha female in a successful relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think especially growing up in the South, you hear so often that that's not a thing. And, you know, women, not that they put women down, but it's like, the man is the man of the house. Yeah. And this is just how it is. And I always say, whatever dynamic works for you, that's what works for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get to decide what works for you in your household.
But I will say this. I think if you are the alpha, or at least in my dynamic, you also have to be aware of the fact that you're probably going to take care of more things in some ways.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And that comes with its pros and cons.
Absolutely.
And so the other thing that's interesting is I'm very particular. So sometimes.
You don't say so.
So for example, and this is something that we get into things about all the time, because I'll be like, here are 5 things I'm going to delegate to you that I want you to just take care of. But then he doesn't do it the way I want him to do it.
He's like, didn't you ask me to do it? You're like, I know I asked you, but now I need to oversee.
Yes. Well, that's right. That's the thing. Because I know exactly how I want it done. I know. And that's really tough. It's really tough to ask someone else to do something and then be like, well, you didn't do it the way I wanted you to do it. Because they're like, I fucking did it. Like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? So,
yes. I've learned to pull back a little bit. I remember when I was living with my ex and he was putting together this drawer that we had. And I heard my mom in my head say, leave that man alone. Because he was like, babe, I'm going to put it together. Now, I don't even know that much about putting together furniture, but I needed to oversee what he was doing anyway. He's like, Drea, get off my back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay, I think, okay, that looks good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, Drea, back up.
Well, but that's literally the dynamic I deal with all the time. And that is just true. And that's something that we have to work through a lot because it's very, I think, frustrating for him. And then it's also frustrating for me. And at the same time, but I'm a very good delegator to some degree.
Right.
But I'm also like to oversee everything I delegate.
I know, Selena. And I'm trying to just chill out and live and let live.
I know.
And just let it be what it's going to be. That's why I go to Burning Man, because then I'm forced to just leave things alone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's hard.
It's really
I'm
hard.
so particular about things. And now that I've been dating, and I say it right away. They're like, oh, what do you like in a relationship? I'm like, particular.
Yeah.
I'm very particular. I'm just going to give you the negatives right now.
Let you know.
Let you know. Girl, at this point, I just want to give a flashcard. I'm like, this is strengths, weaknesses.
Yes.
Take a look.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got somebody else coming at 3, so just hurry up. Seriously.
I love that.
But could you imagine, Selena, dating right now? I'm sure you have some single friends. It is rough out here. It is wild.
I know. No, it is. And I do have a lot of single friends, and it is really rough.
All the options.
Well, and here's the other thing I think is also really rough. I think there's an economics about it that's specifically rough for LA. Yes. And I'll just say from my single girlfriends, the expectation is that they want a very wealthy, young, good-looking man who it works really hard, but has time to go on fun trips, take them with, right? Give them surprises, and
little shopping money.
Treat them good. And so the thing is, that dynamic is really rough because who is this super young, handsome millionaire who's available for
and monogamous
all the time? Who's monogamous? That's another key point, by the way. 100%. That's the thing. It is. Well, that's the thing. I really do think. By the way, I think they exist, but I think they're very few and far between.
Very few.
And I think that my experience is that my friends who are dating and have these expectations are having a really, really hard time. But it's also because if you're a really young guy and you're really wealthy, you built something enormous at a really young age, or you're a trust fund kid.
Or you're a trust fund kid.
Those are the two only things.
That's literally it.
There's no other way.
No.
Because you're young and you have a lot of money. So you're either a trust fund kid or you built something enormous. So if you built something enormous, then you have a huge ego around the fact that you built something enormous. And if you're a trust fund kid, then you might not have the same values as someone else.
Exactly.
So that's really tough. Then if you want to date someone who's older, which might be better, right, to some degree, then they have, their damage.
Yeah, I'm in a different age range at the moment, and it's been interesting. I don't know what's happening over here. No shade. It's different when you're dating. I'm like, I'm going to go a little bit older. Because usually I'll be like a year or two younger.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference.
Yeah.
But like going on the other side, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about over here. I might have to go on back. You know what I mean? But when you're dating these men, or when you have all these expectations, of these men that are wealthy and have all these things, you have to understand what comes with dating a guy like that.
100%.
Like I have a girlfriend, she's dating a guy who's very wealthy, but she can't handle his lifestyle.
100%.
He's not available like that.
No.
He's making the money.
Well, that's the thing. And I have a lot of girlfriends who are actually married to super, super wealthy guys. And their husbands are incredibly unavailable.
Unavailable.
They're just unavailable.
Yes, exactly.
Because they are literally making money, and it takes a lot of time. And they will go on a beautiful trip to Aspen, but the husband's on the phone the entire time.
Damn.
And they're basically by themselves in Aspen. And so it's like,
what do you want?
You know what I mean? There's
right.
pros and cons. And then at the same time, it's like I married someone who didn't have his own money, and that has its own dynamic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then on one part, what's cool is that we're building together, and that can be really incredible. And then on the other hand, it's like, yeah, sure, there's a part of me that's like, I wish I was just being taken care of.
Exactly. Because there is still that thing, even though I can be alpha, there is still that part of me where it's like, you do want to just feel like everything's just taken care of.
Yeah.
I'm still oversee. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you want to feel taken care of 100%.
Totally.
Yeah. So I think that there is, and I think the question is what can you live without, and what
can you live without? And I think more people need to ask themselves those questions when you have this laundry list. Because on my last episode, I gave a shout out to men in LA specifically because it is hard. Yeah. All these expectations and all these things. Not that big of a expectation, but it is hard dating women and knowing that they want all these things.
Well, and I will say I have a lot of single male friends, and the ones who are not super successful have a really hard time dating.
Are they on the apps? Really
hard time. Yeah. But they're like, no one wants a long-term relationship with me because I can't buy a house in Malibu. And I'm like, ugh, that's so hard.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but that is really hard though. And they're really good people with really good hearts who mean really well, who work really hard.
And the girl's like, where's the house?
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, wait, you live in an apartment?
Is that a roommate?
Is it a
condo?
Yeah.
Ew.
Is that your car? Never mind. I literally have a friend that one time, this is crazy, but it's true. She saw someone's car and then pretended that her grandma was sick. She was like, I don't want to get in that car. I was like, oh my God. I was like, but you liked him before you saw him.
Okay, because I was like, wait. Okay, because she liked him before.
Yeah, I kind of did. I was like, oh my God.
Because I went on a date not too long ago, and we were both in the parking garage at the same time, and I got to see his car, and it was missing a piece of something, but he did not present that way.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was like, oh, okay. But I didn't know him yet, so to be fair. Thank you.
But also, by the way, I think LA is also a lot about showing more than what you have.
Yes.
So for example, like I dated a lot of people back in the day who like had an amazing car, but it was leased. And like they were in Beverly Hills, but they weren't in an apartment with their mom. And then
or an apartment with no furniture.
Stuff was like tick, tick, tick. And then it's like as you're looking through, you're like, wait a minute.
Hold on now.
You know what I mean? Okay. But
you ain't got no furniture in the house. There's no furniture here.
Exactly. So, and you know, LA is very like that. You know, like people will buy their Rolex watch and like you know,
and eat ramen
and eat, no, exactly, and like it maybe is not even a real Rolex. Like people are so obsessed with like showcasing a certain way.
Going to the grocery store. They're like,
they're like,
like, sir, put your arm down. Are you paying or not?
If you're paying, I'll take a look.
Credit card. He's like, she's like, it's declined.
Exactly.
So we're going to play red flag, green flag. So you're going to pretend like you are single. And if these men have these things, you'd be like, absolutely not. Or, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Text you back very quickly. You have to say red flag, green flag.
Oh, green flag.
Green flag. Okay, yay. Yeah. Not everybody likes that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Has children.
I'll be okay with it.
Yes. Yeah. Green flag. Okay, his mom still does his laundry.
Red flag.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to think about it. I was like, how often? No,
yeah. But no, you got to think about it, right? Like, what if he's a mama's boy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, it says I love you after 3 weeks.
I think green flag, but I'll say why.
Okay.
Because I think that he would probably mean that he really likes me, and he's just not good with his words.
Okay. And I don't want to be with Selena. Okay. There you go. Okay, has bad style. It's fixable, Selena.
It is fixable.
You said red flag.
I said red flag.
Has cats.
Yeah, I don't mind. Green flag.
I was like, girl, if you put that red flag up. No, I'm just kidding. Cats. Wants to share locations with you.
Oh, red flag.
Oh, Selena said, you're not going to know where I am. Oh my God, I love you. Okay, can only express himself, last one, when he's drinking.
Red flag.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a guess say green flag. I was like,
no.
What, girl?
No. I think that one's pretty bad.
Okay. Oh my God, you answered these so quickly. I love it because it was just like super fast. Okay.
Okay, yay.
Yay! Selena, you have been amazing. Please let us know where everyone can find you and tell us more about your book.
Yes. So you can find me at Selina Ringel on Instagram. And I'm going to also be letting everyone know when the movie comes out.
Yeah.
So watch it. You, Me, and Her. It's going to be out soon. And then also Be the Train is out on Amazon, and it's a #1 bestseller in its category. Yeah, so that's very exciting. And I'm also doing a merch drop for my book.
I was about to say, is there anything else coming up? But I didn't think there would be, but of course there is.
I'm going to be doing a merch drop of cardigans with patches that are manifestation patches under my Be the Train brand to help people kind of wear their manifestations and manifest faster.
I will be getting
and Be the Train.
So will it be like, I want X, or like what would the manifestation be? Like whatever you want them to be?
So I basically did patches for different things I think people want in life. So it's like a house or kids or love or money, and then like affirming words like, you know, no permission needed, or rewrite the rules, or abundance, or fierce, or like just the words that like you need to get you kind of pumped up every day to kind of break through and be your own train.
I think it's so important because we do really forget. That's why people leave the Post-its. And so like being able to wear something that you can look at, you know, you're having a little down moment and it's like, no permission needed. You know what I mean? Like, that's amazing.
Exactly. That's exactly what I want to do.
Selena, you are amazing. And honestly, you've been such an inspiration. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. As always, guys, don't forget, this is the place where the hot mess expresses the black sheeps of love. And for those who can't get it right when it comes to matters of the heart, you guys make sure you hit like, follow, and subscribe down below. And until next time, I'm Drea Renee, and this is Hey Babe, Can We Talk? Bye.